Welcome to the channel, Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist. One of the saddest things that I've come across is when you get into a relationship and you present yourself as best as you possibly can. You come into agreements with people, not binding. People can go whenever they want. That's just how that works. And everything's going along fine. There really isn't an issue there. Well, as far as you can tell. But this is the reality of narcissism. Narcissism works very simply. The love bomb stage, usually initiated by sex, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, but sex. Most of the people that get caught by the love bomb stage are usually some kind of desperate or some kind of sexually starved individual that doesn't understand that sex is a means of power and not a means of influence. And then it's interesting when you watch these people that think they've got some kind of influence over you because of sex. But sex lost influence over me by the age of 19. I'd had enough of it. I can remember sitting out the front of the house where we lived, thinking, that's where that goes. Oh, great. What else is there to do? But I knew sex was an integral part of life. It wasn't like I was going to turn my back on it, but it definitely did not have that ability to take an influence over me. It was from that point on that I wanted to build strong relationships with the women that were in my life. But I guess in my younger life, I did walk away from girls that, possibly could have gone through life with. But at that age, you're immature, you're irresponsible, you're unaccountable, and you do make people cry and all that. And you look back and you learn from that. You go, right, okay, this is a serious game that we're playing, or this is a serious part of life, and it's not to be trifled with. But time and time again, as I've gotten older, and the people that I've met, sex really hasn't produced any power for them at all. Now I have to stop and look at myself and go, well, is it me? I'm 57-year-old now, and I've had sex all my life, non-stop. I've had a bit of a break here and there in between relationships to get counsel and recover and make sure I'm all right. In terms of why the relationship ended, what caused it to end, was it legit? Where did I fail? What were my faults? Where could I have done better? I've even gone as far as sitting with women and watching limerence videos, 3 or 4 now, to teach them about limerence so that they can get through the limerence love impact stage without with at least an awareness of, if things start to change in the chemistry in the way that you feel, be aware that there is such thing called limerence. And the funny part about it is I've never really had bad arguments with these people until they've started to crumble from underneath me. And I do have a high sense of awareness about where people are at and what their integrity is. And if they do start to fall away from morality and integrity, I sort of pick it up pretty quick. And I'm not very tolerant to it. I don't think it's necessary. If you're delivering in a relationship and somebody starts to rock the boat, then you've got every right to stand there and go, this ain't part of the plan. And if that person's not willing to get back to what's healthy and positive and powerful and building in the relationship, you've got every right to go, I'm out. You don't owe that person nothing. All you owed that person was moral and integrity. And if they want to go into the shadows of the darkness, let them go. Because we all know where that ends up. It just ends up nowhere. They go deeper and deeper and deeper. They pretend that they're not. They find supply from somebody else. And things just get worse and worse and worse. They don't resolve the issues that they're supposed to. And let me just say, if you've been with somebody and they've refused to resolve the issues, they ain't going to change. If they don't change for you, what makes you think they're going to change for somebody else? They might do a couple of things different at the start of meeting new supply, but that won't last very long. The fat will wear off. The conscience catches up with them. They begin to fall away from that relationship again. And the way in which they fall away becomes quicker and quicker, particularly as they get older and they've knocked their bodies and their minds around for decades. They haven't really looked after themselves. They're at a point in their life where they're starting to go, hang on a sec, I've served these family members for decades, and if they've got a golden child or scapegoat that's going to assure them that they'll be there for them to look after them later in their life, then they'll just commit themselves to that and get whatever they can, get whatever supply of sex or whatever outside the house. And it just declines. They usually shut shop. Two of my ex-wives ran away of themselves so badly. They don't want a boyfriend anymore. Whatever happened to them after I told them to go didn't go well for them at all. And that's not what I hope for them. But it just doesn't, because if you're wrecking relationships that are good, then what makes you think these people are going to last in a relationship that's bad? If they can't last in a relationship that's good, and they've given 10, 20, 30 years of their life to a drunkard or a drug addict or something like that, or a narcissist or some kind of psychopathic sex addict or something like this, these people are DG, man. They're damaged and they don't know how to psychologically fix themselves. They just consume medications. They'll take alcohol with their medications, which you're not supposed to. And then they'll take their weed and other weekend drugs and have their sex until they die. But the sex falls away because they get tired of people slobbering all over them and jizzing all over them and the mess it makes and the diseases that they get. And, you know, these people have had diseases before you come along. It's the way that they lived. And you want to count yourself lucky if you haven't caught one. But they ain't going to tell you all this. These people are desperate. They know they've wasted decades. They know they've got nothing to show for it. They know that they're getting old and haggard and that the death gauntness in the face is starting to come. They're desperate. They're very cunning and divisive. And I don't know what category you'd be able to put them in. They all seem to get chucked into the narcissist basket. But this is worse than that, because these people have devoted themselves to malignant narcissists, whether they be drug-induced ones or straight. I've seen both. I've seen the IT narcissist male, arrogant, sarcastic, grandiozed straight male, IT male, and I've seen the drug addict ones as well. The drug addict ones get sicker and older quicker, but they're all the same. They're all destructive, and people don't hang around with them for very long if they've got any brains. But this is the problem. This is what a lot of people are learning now. You don't hang around people that are doing you harm, that are causing you stress. You don't hang around these people. Even if you're married to them, you've got every right to get out. But it's got to be for legitimate reasons, right? It can't just be for convenience because you've met somebody else. No. It's got to be by matters of unresolved, but legitimate unresolved. I mean, I've seen mothers unable to bring resolve with their late teen, early 30s adult children, because they've given all their authority to the children and they're wifing up for them. I've seen several of these now. They think they're the only ones that are doing it. They haven't seen behind closed doors. They grandiose themselves by running after these lazy ass mummy's boys, right? And they've totally disabled them. And you try and give advice, and you may as well I just spectate. I just go, oh yeah, this is going to happen next. This is going to happen next. This is going to happen next, and then that'll happen next. And it's the same old pattern. The problem with it is these people think they're the only ones they think they're unique, but they're not. They're just the common dysfunctional single mother families. They're everywhere, and they think they're unique. They've got something unique going on in their house. They haven't. And they would be alarmed to know that they haven't. They really haven't. And they haven't progressed in life. You'll find as they get older, they do have an awareness that they've fucked up. They've messed up. They've missed it. And there's no excuse. They've completely missed it. They sold their soul to their sinful desires. They rob themselves, they rob their children, they rob their relationships, psychologically and emotionally, and everybody loses. They just all lose. And that's it. There's a tremendous amount of regret in older malignant narcissists and psychopaths and sex addicts and all of these things in a way are interconnected. The regret that they're confronted with as they get older in life, 45, 50, 55, too late at 60. It's all over at 50 really if you haven't got it together. You're pretty well determined where you're going to end up in life. And it closes in on you really quick. The river of death starts to flow really quick after 50. I've seen it. I've seen them. I've seen what happens. It's all the same. Same old death, pancreatic cancer or bowel cancer or brain cancer or lung cancer. Because the body can only take so much, and then it goes, okay, cancer, let's finish this off. Breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and these things are common amongst smokers and drinkers. But they continue to do it like they think they're invincible, but they're not. And the grandioso gap, which means the gap between what they think they are and what they really are, seems to be everybody can tell except the people themselves. I've said to several of my girlfriends, does that person know what they're doing? And I've looked at them and they don't know what they're doing. The situation's just completely out of control and they just don't know how to resolve it. And you just watch. That's the key, viewers. Do not engage the elements of these people where they will not resolve, because they'll turn it all back on you. You'll be the one that gets the blame for everything. You must spectate. You can't just attach like a leech to somebody just because they're there and they're giving you sex and all this rubbish. Oh, no. No. There's a whole lot more to it before somebody deserves your attachment. Because if you're with a covert narcissist, they'll give you sex just to get the supply and the thrill to top up their narcissistic banks, right? Emotional banks. But as soon as they're finished with you at one stage or another, you're going to get devalued and discarded, or they'll form a situation where you do a reverse discard. I've seen it over and over again. So you have to, as a man, have a tremendous amount of awareness to understand if you've got somebody that's coming to you for sexual supply and some company and then go to retreat back to where their life truly is. You're more or less a male prostitute that they don't have to pay for. Or a woman that genuinely wants to become close to you and build a happy, powerful life. Some of you people have had people like this and been people like this, and you've just been neglected and abused. And not just for a week or a month, but for decades. How do you recover from that? You can't get that time back. That's why people are carrying wounds and they're all medicated up and pilled up and doped up. Oh yeah. They're looking back with horrible regret. People are hanging themselves, committing suicide. No, I'm not playing that game. No. I challenge my exes if they listen to this, which they won't. They're too fucking lazy. I did the right thing the whole way. I did the work for decades to make sure that if I turned up, I was turning up and I was going to make an impression, and I did. But they couldn't reciprocate it. They kept dying in the arse to the point where I just said, I cannot mentally do this anymore. And I call it. And they disappear. 3 or 4 of them are still surface. They normally surface eventually when the dust has settled and they realise. It takes time. It's about protecting your mind. Once you go into trauma from the disappointments of these people or the people that they've triangulated with, that's why covert emotional incest is so dangerous, because these silly people triangulate they're already triangulated with the people, they're enmeshed with the people in their family. And if they get a partner and the people in the family don't like the partner, well, that's it. Because the parent or whoever it is given the authority of themselves to the family and they think all the answers are in the family. They're not. I've never seen it once where it's worked out anywhere near where it should have. Not once. And I've said to these women, you need to get proper therapy. They think they're the therapists themselves. And if you look at what they've done to these people, it's absolutely scandalous. That's not to say they haven't tried, but they've completely blown it. Absolutely blown it. And they just sit in their little tribes, smoking their peace pipes and drinking whatever they can get their hands on. And having as much sex as they can. It doesn't work. People break down, they get sick, they get diseases. Before you know it, it's all over. They think it's a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's real. And you need to be very well aware of yourself and the other person. That's duty of care. Within a relationship. It's duty of care. For yourself and for the other person. That's the golden rule. Love your neighbour as yourself. That's it. That's it. So I hope this has helped you. I've had to share this. I mean, the regret and the denial and the unresolved that people are carrying around. I mean, honestly, I don't even know how they function. I just don't. Just don't. And I don't want to know. I don't want to be near it or in it. There's a much better life than all that. Oh, no. Pushing people away and being hostile, and that's not. No. That's desperate. Well, I'll get off. It's gone for too long. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. If you want to comment, please do. I don't even know if YouTube's putting these videos out there. I've got well over 1,000 videos, and they're all terrific content, and nothing's happening. Either I'm hopeless, and that's it, or YouTube isn't sharing my videos or something. I don't know, because some people have got 10 videos and 1,000 subscribers, 2, 3, 4,000 subscribers. So I don't know how it works. But anyway, this has been put up to help someone, and I really hope it does. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Bye for now.